Good afternoon, gang. Chris here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is the big football final. I'm wishing all the lads well. Bobby Firmino, Alisson, Fabinho. Come on, boys, you can do this. Just kidding. No, by the time this gets uploaded, England have either won or lost the European final. This is like a Schrodinger's cat sort of situation. We're in a state right now, well, I am, of being in the past tense, because I'm living now presently in the past tense of what you're living in your present tense. So it's already happened, so you guys know the outcome. But for me, in this state of flux, kind of like England have both won and lost this game of football. Now, I haven't watched any of the football, any England game, and it's a little bit controversial, but I just wanted to explain myself a little bit here why I don't follow England. And it's kind of the same for a lot of people in this city. It's like, it's not that we're rooting against England per se, it's just there's a slight disconnect felt between us and the national team. Like me personally, you know, I'm a big Liverpool fan, that's my team, that's who I love and support. When it comes to the national team, I haven't got the same real emotion. I mean, no offence to these people, but I can't get behind Harry Maguire as a Liverpool fan, regardless of if he is playing for England instead of Man United. And the same with Jordan Pickford, you know. I'm not going to be cheering for Pickford. I'm not only sat there shouting abuse at him. So, yeah, it's nice that, you know, it brings the country together, and it's nice, especially in the last year we've had with everything being so rubbish. It is cool that, you know, there's something for everyone to sort of get behind and celebrate. But for me personally, I'd be lying to myself if I got behind England and started supporting them, because they're not my team. That's not to say I want them to lose, by the way. You know, I do want them to win, but I'm not really that interested. It's kind of like the way you'll get people who have no interest in football at all, but when it comes to international football, like, come on England, let's go and watch football. I'm kind of the opposite way around. For me, international football is just sort of part of the break between real football, like the Premier League. You know, that's like, at least there's a bit of football on in between the league. So there you go. I know, slightly controversial. I think it was the World Cup like 3 years ago now, when England were having that penalty shootout. I can't remember who they were playing, I wasn't watching it, and I was actually in London at the time, and I was staying in a hostel, and the hostel was connected to a pub. So when I got back, England were just like starting to, you know, the penalty shootout was about to start, and I got back into my room. I was staying in, there was like, say, 10 other people in the room, and there was only one guy in there. He was from Somerset, and he was sitting on his bed with the laptop on, watching it, you know, with headphones on. So I just sort of waved and said hello, and then carried on doing what I was doing. Now, I could hear the cheering coming from the pub, you know, when England scored the goals and stuff. So I kind of obviously concluded that they won the game. But just after that, the lad who was staying there took his headphones off and just said to me, he said, are you not English? I said, yeah, I'm English, I'm from Liverpool. And he said, you've just missed the penalty shootout. So again, I did the whole thing, I explained to him, I was like, well, it's not really my thing, to be honest. I'm not that interested in England as a team. his mind was blown. It was just like, that's the national team. How can you not be like super patriotic and behind your team? So we had a bit of a discussion about it. I just said, you know, this city itself kind of has a bit of a disconnect from we feel a bit like outsiders, and I think a lot of that's from the damage of what the Sun newspaper did, you know, when they painted us all as thugs. You know, other parts of the country have now seen this as well, because they've done it to other people since, but we were like the OG sort of made out to be scumbags by the paper. And I still come across it a lot on YouTube, people saying, oh, you know, I get the whole mind your whole cap sort of stuff. That doesn't bother me, you know, it's banter. It's fine banter. The thing is, there's people still out there who believe that what they printed was true. And you kind of go and you can watch the footage back now. It's all on YouTube, like the whole of what happened on the pitch is there to see. And you can clearly see that all the fans were trying to help out. I'm referring to Hillsborough, by the way, in case anyone's unaware of what I'm referring to here. But yeah, it seemed to have kind of just alienated us from the rest of the country. And I suppose, obviously, the disaster at Heysel a couple of years before that obviously didn't help the image of the city. You know, we were totally to blame for that as well. We weren't the only people to blame, but we were to blame. There's no getting out of it, you know. That was the 80s. It was football hooliganism at its finest, and it led to people losing their lives. It's grim. Shouldn't have happened. We've got to live with that. But when it comes to Hillsborough, you know, the fault of that wasn't really down to the fans themselves. Yeah, all right, there might be people there with no tickets and stuff. The crush was done by the police opening up the gates and forcing people down into a central pen that couldn't take the capacity of the people who were forcing down there. That's what caused that. So anyway, that's left a sort of bad taste in the mouths of a lot of people in England about Liverpool, you know, and for 30 years they believed it, that that's what happened, you know, because there was no YouTube in 1989. There was no let's actually look what they've said and fact check it. Unless you were sitting there watching the live football on the telly, you know, because I think it was televised. I was a bit young, I don't really remember it too well. It'd be very hard to actually disprove what the police were saying. Plus, this was the police. So yeah, I kind of don't blame people for believing it, but it's kind of now, you know, the papers turn around, they've made an apology far too late. It was only when the hand was forced that they eventually turned around and admitted that what they'd said was false or unverified. But the damage has been done, and it has put a rift in, you know. I don't know if you've noticed, but looking around on this journey I've done so far, it's not really much sentiment for England. I'm not seeing that many England flags around, and I've seen a couple of cars. I think there was one the other day, one car with an England flag, and it's sad really. Oh, here we go, here's some now. Friggin' hell, timed that right, didn't I? Talking about no England fans, and here they are. But yeah, there's definitely sort of like an underlying current of a disconnect between England and us. I know a lot of people who are not interested in what the outcome is tonight. You know, we've just been having a discussion about it. I've said to people, you're watching it, and they're like, nah, I don't know, might do. You know, it's very meh, as opposed to being like excited, this is the day we could actually win the European thing. Oh, here we go, we've got an England one. Friggin' hell, everyone's proving me wrong. Now I'm getting to the city centre. I'm proving myself wrong here. We're getting cars and people and fellas fighting themselves. Go ahead, mate, have a good one. Get on him, he was having a boss time. Oh, I love it. So there you go, muting this over. We're all gonna just have a party. It's right, that fella just made my day. Oh, here's another England car now. Alright, I stand corrected. Everyone in Liverpool loves England. All the flags are out now. I don't know where they've been for every other game before the final, but they're here, I suppose. Late to the party, they've arrived. So anyway, I do say this with a little bit of sincerity. I hope England win tonight. And that's about it. Obviously, by the time I've edited this, it's probably going to be about a week after the final, and everyone's like, yeah, why are you even chatting about this? This is already done. Oh, actually, just adding a little extra one on there. So, getting back to football hooliganism as it was before. I've said I was going to talk about this to someone the other day. So I went travelling around Europe some years ago, and I went to Rome, and I stayed in this hostel, and the guy, obviously, you know, who owned the hostel was saying to me, where are you from? I said Liverpool, and he's like, yeah, okay, well, just so you know, there's not going to be any trouble. And I was like, trouble? I didn't really understand what he was talking about. And he said, because of the European final. And I'm like, hey? And he said, when Liverpool beat Rome. And I was like, God, I don't even think I was born when that happened. I was like, mate, you serious? And he was like deadly serious about it. Like, I'm not going to start a fight with you if you don't start a fight with me. And I'm like, I've got no intention of fighting anyone, regardless of where they're from. Yeah, it was just like, are you really seriously still bitter about this? It was like, I think 1984, wasn't it? And I was 2 years old. Like, I wasn't going to be a 2-year-old at the final, throwing bottles of lager at Italians. It's just baffling. Oh, here we go. Come on, England. Even the bus is getting involved. So there you go, guys. Yeah. Some dude in Rome who owns a hotel in the hospitality industry was wanting to fight me. That doesn't count. That's the same car that we went past before. I'm not counting that as another car with flags, because that's the same one. He was behind me, just so we know. Just getting that out there. It's about 3 o'clock at the moment in the afternoon, so it's a few hours to go before the final. I don't even know what time it kicks off tonight. I've got my tunes on, that's what's important. Chemical Brothers, let's have it. Losing you. And I've got something in my eye. Oh,